Well, welcome to Heroes of the Vale and our wonderful cast. We have TJ Storm playing Keen, and his last name.
We're off to a great start.
We have Hope Lavelle playing Penelope, Adam Bradford playing Briv Steelmarrow the Beautiful, and Lauren Urban playing Kira. And then we have Jen Kritchmer playing Alindra. I am very excited to play with all these people who are incredibly and vastly talented people and so much fun to play with. So yeah, let's just dive in. In the last episode, mistakes may have been made. I'm not saying who may have made them, but you had entered the Koatoa village in the swamp, finding so many people from the Ninter Vale that had been kidnapped, not only from the town of Fallcrest, but also other cities as well, to be a sacrifice to a god that they named the Destroyer. You all decided that this was not a good idea or a good a good use of people. This sacrifice. So you decide against it, as one does, and a fight broke out. And you, as this creature, this totem came to life and almost became a god, destroyed the totem before we could ascend to become a true deity. This upset Roar a great deal, who is the leader of the Koatoa, as well as his trusted 12-foot son, Boom Boom. You guys heroically defeated them. There was some tense moments where the very heart of the totem was in your hands, and you agreed to give it back to Roar and Boom Boom if they released the hostages. You made this agreement, and then Briv had Flo spray her flump stink everywhere, and he grabbed the heart and tore it in half, thus sundering the deal. You took the villagers that you have saved and went into the mountains, and you found a citadel where everyone made camp, and you soon found a device using a crystal sphere that was once owned by Avern that allowed the castle to actually rip out of the mountain range and fly into the sky. And you have now been in what is called Storm Herald for some time. Thousands of people actually live in Storm Herald, not only in the towers and the fortress and the small houses that exist on the surface, but also in the tunnels beneath. And each of one of you has been doing something different with this new floating fortress that you live in. I'd like to actually ask what everyone is doing. Keen, what has Keen been doing in this new fortress?
Keen has been thinking about the way and the culture of all the new people that he is meeting. He spends time to get to know each of the people that are on this trip along with him, so that he may better serve their needs when the time arises and become a part of this community that he is now a part of. Other than that, he occasionally practices with his glaive, and he studies the crystal sphere that pilots this vehicle alongside the lore keeper.
Keen, you, in doing so, discover out of the crowd walks a very familiar face, an Eladrin. He's limping. It is Dagon Olaprath of the Eternal Night.
My weapons master?
Yes. And he's like,
what are you doing here, Dagon?
I came down to try to help you, and I was kidnapped by these strange fish monsters to be part of a sacrifice.
How could they possibly have kidnapped you?
Well, it did take several hundred of them, but yes, they kidnapped me eventually. I don't mean to brag, but many of these fish monsters fell at my hand. But I was overcome. There's only so many nets that could be thrown over you until you fall asleep.
I am glad you are well. Why are you here still? Should we get you back?
My connection to the Feywild has been severed.
Well, then you are part of our new family. I must introduce you to the others. They must know that a great warrior is among us, my own teacher. First, you must meet Penelope Halfpint. She is the one that I call friend on this place. She has shown me everything that I know of this world. And there is a lore keeper among us as well. And a wise dragonborn. And there is a Briv.
What is a priv?
I will let
Sounds
you decide that
mighty
for
warrior.
yourself.
It sounds highly intellectual and not opinionated in any way.
That over there is a Briv. That.
Ah! What do you feed
What are you
it?
doing?
I was shaking my arms because they had too much sweat on them from all the working out I was doing.
All right,
Is this a
briefly we
regular
will move over
practice
to
for you?
Obviously, it is.
what has Penelope
Interesting.
been
And she
doing
writes
this whole
it down
time?
in her book.
Penelope has been doing whatever she can to make this stone castle a lot more naturey. So she's been trying to plant flowers and a garden and vines anywhere she can. And she's been giving people flowers and basically just trying to make people feel at home in our new flying home, as well as getting to know all of the people and definitely befriending anyone who is her size. And telling lots of stories of all the heroes that she knows of.
You
Keep
do
everyone's
meet
spirits up.
several other halflings and gnomes as well. You also find in a large space that clearly used to be kind of a grove, a garden, there is a large dead tree in the very center. And it's incredibly tall, and you've never seen a tree quite of this kind before.
Well, of course, the first thing I do is go and knock on it. Knock, knock, knock. Hello? Hello? Tree, are you still there?
All right. And I'm going to move briefly to Briv. Briv, what have you been doing?
Briv has been assessing and training a militia that shall defend the fortress keep should we be attacked by things that are very high in the air. So that is one thing that he has been doing. He has also been reflecting and trying to understand why the members of his party have seemed to be upset with his previous actions. He genuinely is confused by the results.
Okay.
So he's been a little bit somber, really going into the duty of training some of these militia individuals, trying to find those that know what they're doing and trying to make sure that people are keeping and maintaining regular posts. And for the most part, avoiding the rest of the party unless it's just simply saying hello, niceties, and to eat food. And any other time he would kind of be forced to normally interact with them.
Now, there are some repairs, like some of the walls are down, and there are a few rotten ballistas. Have you been attempting to repair those as well?
Yes, absolutely. So Briv is pretty skilled at metalworking, and so he absolutely would go headlong into that, trying to get the ballistae ready to go. Any other type of siege weaponry that maybe one day I will randomly act like we should have and the dungeon master will agree to, I would also be preparing that right now too.
You find 4 ballistas, 2 of which are kind of beyond repair. You also find 4 cauldrons that are set at the bottom of Storm Herald, the flying fortress, as well as 2 trebuchets.
Okay.
The trebuchets are only one of them is functional at this time.
So I will also work on trying to position what artillery we do have to be what I feel like is the most optimal to ward off attack.
Okay. I will allow you to repair 2 things in this time. I need you to choose what you repair. Also, everyone, you've clearly had a long rest and time to heal. So you are at your maximum hit points at this time. So when you are done, Briv, let me know exactly what you have spent your time repairing.
Quick question. Did you say that any of the ballista were repairable, or did you say all 4 were gone?
2 are functioning, 2 are down.
2 are already functioning or need to be fixed?
Sorry. Yeah, 2 really need to be fixed. You're right.
Okay.
Yeah. 2 can be fixed.
All right, so we're going to do one of those then, if I can do one of those in this time.
Okay. And you have one more thing you can fix.
Oh, okay. Let's just do both of those because it's going to be easier to train people to use one thing than it will be for 2 separate things.
Managed. Good point. All right. Orkira, what have you been doing in the days that have followed?
In the immediate days, she's gone amongst the townsfolk, making sure that everybody is settled, healed, offering whatever she can do, either with her magic or with some of her natural healing to be able to help people. She's probably spent some time with Penelope if she sees Penelope planting a garden, offering up, hey, would you mind planting some of this? It'll be really helpful for these kind of poultices, that kind of thing. Any of her spare time outside of that, she's going to be trying to talk with Kalasar about what happened, what he went through, where he's been since her clan got destroyed, and keeping an eye just out for her friends. They've all kind of scattered to all these people, trying to help people out, and she hasn't seen them very often and is just kind of keeping an eye out, hoping to chat with them about what to do next. And depending on how many days we're talking about, every morning she'll spend a little bit of time, like instead of the hey, how you doing, praise Paylor, she'll actually spend a little bit of time praying and trying to suss out what's going on with this other sun goddess that she's just encountered.
Okay,
but she's kind of busy.
What is the name of this other sun goddess, did you say?
I've got it in my notes here. I just remember she welcomed me when I arrived, and it was nice. I'll find her eventually. But yeah,
and now on to sorry, go ahead. You were going to say more?
That was it. That's just basically what I'm trying to do, is talk to a lot of people and help people.
All right. Alindra, what have you been doing?
I'm also talking to a lot of people, trying to find out their stories, recording those. I'm trying to sort out, I found a library here, and I'm trying to figure out what's there and how to best recover what we can so I can record that information and learn from it. And finally, I will be working on my prayers as well, consecrating the ground as much as possible to protect us, and praying to Ogma for the knowledge on how best to pilot the ship, the fortress, and what sort of finding whatever I can about ensuring the safety of our people.
Okay. In the days that have gone on, you've increasingly discovered that you need food. You need supplies. You are responsible for thousands of people who are now living in this very strange place, in this very strange land. Unfortunately, many of the members who were captured by the Koatoa have come down with a disease called sight rot. It literally rots their vision and blinds them. This has become somewhat of an epidemic in the fortress of Storm Herald, and you've never seen an outbreak quite like this before, and it's clearly started happening to everyone once they were captured by the Koatoa. It is not because of them moving into the fortress, but is a recent epidemic. Okera, you don't find out any more information about. You hear some whispers of a new god named Saranthus, who is a god of hearth and home, but you're scant on details. It's more rumor, and occasionally you'll find someone who believes in her but doesn't really have like anything tangible to tell you. It's just like, I heard about this cool god, and that's about it. Yeah, very, very shallow surface level stuff has been happening. Keen, your investigations into the orb, you know how to steer it. You've got that down. You know how to steer Storm Herald itself, but you do sense that there is a greater power in there. Alindra, I need you to roll an Arcana check. I assume that like you said, you've been studying this as well.
I didn't have my portent, so my portent's 8 and 13, and my roll is 16 plus 10, so 26.
Okay. You realize this structure, this room, is far more powerful than you thought. When a magic user is inside of it, using the crystal, there is a spire at the top of the tower. This spire doubles the range, area effect, and damage of any spell cast through it that is damage dealing.
I'm sorry, it doubles the range?
Doubles the range, doubles the damage, and the area effect of any spell that you cast. So if you're in the room and you're navigating the fortress and you cast Fireball, you can cast that Fireball at double the range. It will have double damage and double the area of effect.
And that's if I cast through the orb on
Right.
the fortress.
Correct. Yeah.
That's powerful. Wow. I will make notes about that, and I will also teach anyone who's been working with me to steer the ship. So Keen, I will explain this to you as well, and record it so that if someone else in our group needs that information, it is findable. Let me see if there's a way for me to magically secure it as well.
Do we have a ship's log?
Really?
Because I would very much like to say, ship's log, start date 4.2. So sorry, I could not resist. I do not know. I am so sorry. I will shut up.
You date through the stars. That's fascinating.
There's a navigational technique.
Fascinating. You'll have to teach me. I want to write it down.
Do you need to speak in that voice when you do it? That was kind of a cool voice. You're gonna have to teach me how to do that.
Captain's log.
Okay. Back on track.
I don't know. I thought we were totally on track.
I don't know the stars here, though. Oh, it's canon now.
I knew the day was coming. I knew it.
Yeah.
No, I knew.
I'm going.
We're friends now,
to also...
and this is like how you can tell your friends all of this. All of this
We
is
were
how you
playing
can tell your
D&D.
friends.
This is now just going to be 10 more minutes of us making Star
Yeah.
Trek references. It's going to be great. Join us on this journey. Here we go. Here we
Ruff's
go.
actual name is Q.
Okay.
Okira,
Back to the fortress.
Okira
I
does
also will
actually
talk-
have questions for Alindra once you're done. About
Okay.
that.
I was going to gather Penelope and Okira to try and talk to them about the side rot and see if we could come up with some solutions there, as well as possibly figuring out some solutions for the food situation. Food and water.
That would be great. You mentioned that this spire thing, if you cast spells through it, it makes it more powerful, but it's only damaging stuff. It wouldn't work for, say, my healing. I couldn't amplify that to try to heal the sight rot.
No, it doesn't seem that way. I think we're going to need to triage and treat patients as much as possible.
Does any of Okira's magic actually help lesser restoration, healing, any of that?
Lesser restoration absolutely does.
Okay.
On as you cast it, I believe is a range of one person, correct? You can heal one person of it. So you can begin. It's going to take time, but you can start preventing the spread of the disease. But
that means I can do 5 a day. That's all I got.
are you casting all? Are you healing? Are you casting? Are you healing people of this sight rot 5 times a day?
Yeah, I think as this situation starts to worsen, I think she would be using, because a lesser restoration for me is it's a 2nd level spell. I got 3 2nd level slots and 2 3rd level slots. So yeah, I would be finding either the 5 worst infected who are going to get really, really bad, or people who we need to heal this person because they've got 5 kids, or like triaging who needs it today, who needs it tomorrow. But yeah, I think she would be immediately on top of that, just doing whatever she can. I don't know if there's any other clerics or healers around that could help, but that's what she'd be doing like right away. She gets up and she'd be lessering restoration people.
I want to take a moment. Penelope mentioned that she's knocking on this dead tree. You've been drawn to this tree this entire time. It's been kind of calling to you. And when you knock on it, you briefly have like a lightning flash of a vision of an immense tree with its branches going all the way into the sky and past the sky as you do so. And you hear a voice. You see a tree, not unlike this one, dying, surrounded by mud and rocks and thousands of dead trees and what was once a forest. And you hear a voice, and it says, "Help. I'm dying. They're coming." And you see that there's this darkness behind the tree. The tree is barely lit by sunlight. And there's this wall of darkness, and in that darkness there is something moving. And you sense kind of the direction. There's a storm in that direction.
Okay. I think Penelope would wipe the tears away from her and try to reach to the tree and say, "I'm so sorry. Whatever it is, I promise I'll make it my mission to help you." And she'll go and she'll tell this to Okira.
It's not that tree though. This is like a tree somewhere else.
All trees and nature are connected, but I do think that it is a cry for help. And us as heroes, we need to do something about it. There must be a way to save these lives.
I agree. But aren't we flying in the sky? If the roots aren't connected to the ground, how does that... you can tell me later. You know which direction we need to go in?
Do I? I am a wonder. I would have good sense of direction.
The storm that you saw, as a druid, definitely. You know right where it is.
Okay, then I would get Alindra involved, and I would tell her, Miss Owl Lady, is there anything we can do with the orb to steer the castle into this direction? I feel like it's very important that we go here.
Yes, absolutely. Do you know anything about what we're heading towards?
It's just darkness, but I just feel very strongly that we are called to it, and as heroes, we need to do it.
All right then. Penelope the Brave? We'll go that way.
And I would go back to the tree. Yeah, and I would go back to the tree and just sit and tell it stories and continue to talk with it, even if it's not anything better.
One other thing that that Briv would try to do during this period is, as he's scoping out the fortress defenses kind of on the outside, he would also be keeping an eye out over the horizon, in particular looking for what kinds of flying creatures are out and about. And over time, hopefully, he's heard, he also remembers from his childhood kind of the call of a griffin, and he's starting to kind of fashion this thing that looks like maybe a whistle, but maybe more like a megaphone. And he's just trying to put something together that can call a griffin at some point in time.
So it would be more like a horn.
That's fine.
And yes, I will say that your people have become adept at fashioning various horns that could mimic the sounds of different creatures. Just as a point of survival, especially in the Ninter Vale at the time.
So ultimately, just trying to see if I can attract a griffin, in particular a mother griffin, if at all possible. So Briv is just trying to play a long game here. He's just trying to possibly breed these, have some kind of fortress defense that can leave the fortress and return to it safely.
Okay. That's what you're doing. Yeah. All right. Who is in charge of Storm Herald right now?
I believe probably Keen. He was the one who sorted everyone into groups.
Well, who's in charge of the direction of Storm Herald? Who is piloting?
Oh, that would be me, I believe.
Okay. What are you doing right now?
I'm steering the direction that Penelope was indicating.
Okay.
Did I find anything in any of my books in the library that would support this or give me any information about what we're heading to?
There is mention of a terrible cataclysm where darkness will one day take over the world, and that it had already begun for some time. That cataclysm happened over 200 years ago, and it indicated that a lasting darkness may befall the land. You have also noticed, in the time that you've been here, that the sun has not set.
Like in the world, it hasn't set?
In the world, it has not set.
Isn't that because there's two suns? Are they? They're not.
There were two of them, yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So they're like opposite sides. I guess I was picturing them like together.
No, that's
style.
They're binary. They are binary, but you yourselves have noticed the sun hasn't set. One is constantly at the point of sunset. One is a little bit higher in the sky. But to the east has always been darkness. Just pure, like the edge of night darkness. And that is the direction you are heading right now.
So if we are on the bright
Yes.
side, we are headed to the dark side of this place.
Correct.
Of course, we are
It
headed to
seems
the
so.
dark side of this place.
What season are you in?
Impulse. I am in fall because it is in the fall that you prepare for the winter. You take care of your hearth and home and your family. That is what one does. That is what we must do.
Okay. All right. You start moving in that direction. You hear
I have
various
a
squawking
question.
coming from Briv. Yes?
It's all right. We can come back to it. It's fine.
Wait, I need another one.
What was that?
Tis
We need
a
to get back
griffin
into
call.
doorways. What's going on?
Don't thou recognize
Sirenscape, please record this for us.
Epic
Rip, what are you
games need
doing?
epic
Oddly
sound.
enough, Alindra doesn't react to this. It seems fairly normal.
Yeah. You just see at various states Briv on the battlements of Storm Herald just
I imagine Okira's been running around like healing people, trying to figure out how to stem the tide of this, and then at one point she hears this, just like, "What are you doing? What is going on
Here,
up there?"
little birdie. Here, here.
well, one old man is like, why didn't this disease take my ears?
Oh, don't feel that way. Just go. I'll go talk to him. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And Kira's gonna go on up to the battlements where Briv is and be like, "So, what's with the horn?"
I am just trying to defend us. I'm trying to call to us allies that shall help us protect this fortress that we have come into possession of.
That sounds wonderful. What are they?
They're griffins. I show her my shield and just kind of thump the symbol on the shield. I know of them from the time when I was a boy.
And you just call to them and they come?
I haven't exactly confirmed that theory, but you come when I call thee.
Yeah, but you usually say my name and you don't just make noises. Are you saying this griffin's name? Is this like a specific griffin that you know that you're just calling out to, but all we hear is
I don't expect thou to understand the subtleties of griffin language, but we are. And he just kind of does it again.
Well, that's okay. I don't expect to understand it either. I just was curious why you were making that very loud noise.
Oh, is it? Does it offend thee?
No, it just startled me is all, and it kind of startled the rest of us. But now that I know what's going on, I'll just let everybody know that they're not supposed to be worried. I mean, we just heard a loud noise, and I wasn't sure if I needed to get back in a doorway.
I shall take care of it. I step back into wherever the common area is. Hear ye, hear ye. This is Briv the Bold. I am calling to us stout defenders that shall help us protect our home. All of the noises that thou shalt hear are perfectly normal, and I shall stop them by the 9th hour of every evening during quiet hours.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning. You know that, right, pal? Ha!
Yeah, you're getting that.
Storm
Storm Herald is actually
tell
New
what
York
time
City.
of day it is
Hey,
because it is never night.
Why are you making so much noise? This is the middle of the night.
Oh, can I try? I want to try. I want to call the griffins.
Yes, please, Penelope the Brave. No, you have to cup your lips like this around.
Did I do it right?
Absolutely, Penelope.
Are the griffins here?
Not yet. It takes them some time to travel this distance. I shall awake thee when they come.
Keen,
Thank you very
your
much.
weapon master just turns to you, like side by side. What people have you been spending time with?
We have much to talk about. Yeah.
I do want
But
to reiterate that Briv serves the goddess of luck. All right. I just want to throw that out into the universe.
Awesome.
Again, I can tell we're all friends because someone's trying to hustle me. It's definitely the friendship episode.
Did he bring snacks? Because that's the secret.
What?
And he's got a flump, and now he wants some griffins. I mean, it's winning. He's winning so far, right?
You're going to have
It's
to
a
Grubhub knock on your door
menagerie.
any moment.
The fortress continues to move closer and closer to the darkness, and you begin to see a wasteland of dead trees and mud, lifeless, except for the occasional like giant rat you see scurrying in the mud, and then it hears a and just runs away. It runs from the flying fortress above it, making such horrible and terrifying noises, coming not only from half-orcs but halflings as well. So what little wildlife there is scattering from whatever this monstrous call, this whatever evil demon must live in this fortress.
is the
And,
landscape turning green for any reason?
Yes.
Is it green? I feel like it is verdant, like it is. No, it is not so
no,
much
it's
anymore.
gone. We
Okay,
For a
very
brief
good.
Never
moment,
mind.
It was.
You just had
Green
something
flame.
on your.
Thing.
Never mind.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
am preparing the people for darkness just in case
In
we do not have light sources prepared. And if it is truly dark over there, I want them to be prepared for it as well. Whatever lanterns or burnable sources there are, or spells of light, we have the people prepare for that.
I will prepare some various rocks and things with light so they can glow if we need them in
Okay.
advance. Also, I would like to find out if there are any people who were blind prior to the plague that's going through our community. If there are, I would like to have them start teaching all of the people aboard how to get around without sight.
Okay.
I have a question actually. Is there, if this is a castle, is there an armory of any kind?
Yes, in fact, your weapons master is sort of taken it upon himself to take up camp there.
I learn what he sees in this place and who may have owned this before us.
This place is very old. I do not think it has been inhabited for thousands of years. Many of these weapons are surprisingly well made, considering they were not created in the Feywild. But for some
Are these-
reason, someone has abandoned this place.
Are these human weapons?
Not human, but not elven either. Something in between.
I share this with the lore keeper to add to the information of this place.
Thank you, I appreciate it, Key. Could it possibly be the Gith?
None of the weapons appear to be similar to what you saw with the GIF.
Right.
So no, they have a certain. They're distinctly human, a little bit dwarvish and elvish all at once. Not like someone was trying to combine these styles with the swords and the hammers and the spears that you found, but that somehow these are all like three styles that seem very similar. it's hard to pinpoint. It's kind of an unusual find.
I will
I
put
asked the
the
lore keeper.
illustrations.
I asked the lore keeper if there has been a time when humans and dwarves and elves ever lived together, at least in her
I d-
world.
In my world, yes. Here, I have no idea. Unless I found something in the books or talking to the people here.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Have I found any information about the place we are, the history, and whether there was a time that the humans and the dwarves and the elves coexisted together?
Okay.
Whether it's amongst the people or specifically in the library, in the books.
Okay. You're still deciphering some of the books. Some of it is not in common or any language that you've ever read before. There are plenty of illustrations,
All right.
but this is a completely different language than you're used to. Like there are certain elements that obviously connect to common, but it's not unlike sort of the swords and the weapons that you found. There is this weird hodgepodge language that is, if you were speaking English today, it'd be like talking to someone who spoke English in the Middle Ages.
I
There's
do have
something very
comprehend
archaic.
languages, so I can put that on if that makes things easier.
Makes it a lot easier.
Excellent.
So what specifically are you trying to find out?
I don't know what I have here, so it's hard to decide that, but we'd like to figure out if there was who lived here, who coexisted in this world, anything we know about the history of this world, the suns, any other civilizations, faiths, anything.
You find out that guardians once lived in this fortress, that a cataclysm had come about, and that this world would end. And that was written hundreds of years ago. But this world is
Right.
still here. But that the ground is not safe. About this time, you get to the center of a dead forest, on the very edge of the horizon. Ahead of you is darkness. You are in the twilight world, and you see a single tree, still with some leaves, standing almost 40 feet tall.
Wow.
It is withered, but it is ancient and old, like an ash tree.
As we've been flying in this direction, how have the suns then been slowly setting in the sky as we've been moving, or what's been happening with them? Like how do we get to this darkness?
Every day, if you can call them day, the suns do move. But you, by moving towards the darkness, got closer to it. But you make a perception check. We're getting into astronomical sorts of things.
Sure. It's a 12.
It seems like the line of shadow has moved. It's a hard thing to tell, but yeah, it seems like one of the suns is setting very slowly.
Okay. I'm fully expecting Neil McDonough to just show up and this to turn into White Dwarf. I'm just totally expecting that to happen. As this is so like Okira would be a little bothered by one of these suns going away, but I think she's probably still really focused on making sure the people are as healthy and recovering from this outbreak as possible. But as we get closer to this, she'll be helping also light things. She'll just be casting light wherever she can.
Okay.
So I don't know what she can do to help with keeping the people a little at ease, because I feel like we're just flying into something, but she'll be casting light and casting healing, and then finally go up to where Alindra would be piloting and say, "So are we just going straight in?"
No, I
Or-
think we should pause here for a moment. And I will send Griff out further to see if Griff can spot anything we cannot.
Griff goes past the tree, is the plan. Flies through, sees Flo wandering around. Says,
Hello, Alan. How are you?
just floating off in the distance on some.
Griff sort of looks and then flies off.
How do you make your head move that way?
In particular, Griff is examining the flower that Flo is wearing.
Aw.
Flo never lets go of the flower.
It's rotted
Aw.
at this point. It's just, still there.
Yeah.
Got one petal left, but holding on.
Loves me not, loves me.
Oh, so sad.
Will eat me, will eat me not. Will eat me.
Griff moves further into the darkness, and there seems to be a writhing darkness in the distance.
I think I would like to gather everyone together and consult with them about what we should do next.
You are now above the dead
I'd like to stop.
Well, not dead
before
ash
we-
tree, but you are now above the large ash tree.
I would like to stop and not continue forward until I've had a meeting with everyone and confirmed that this is what we want to do and see if we can find a plan for it.
Okay. Where do you have this meeting?
Probably in the control room, I suppose.
Okay.
Unless there's
Are there any of the people that, now that we've all had a contact with them, would there be anyone that we would want here? My weapons master is wiser than I am. Are there others like him among the people that might benefit from this talk?
That's in part up to Arkira, whether she wants to invite Kalasar.
I feel like she probably would, but yeah, I think she would.
Briv would feel rather
Kalasar, we're gonna
dismissive
try to.
of the abilities of any of the other militia members, to be honest. Like he would not think that they would belong here.
Yeah, she would bring him mostly because I think she likes having him around because there's a connection there, but she would definitely be a little cautious about introducing.
Okay. So,
I think it'd be
Kalasar,
good if he's here because I think it'd be good if he's here because if we're gonna go plus them, we're gonna need some people to take charge while we're gone, right?
yes, absolutely.
So I trust him to help defend this place while we're gone. Keen, it looks like you've got a friend too, so they should know what we're doing if whatever we are doing.
okay. So what are you meeting about? What is the conversation?
I think I will. Ahead there is darkness. It is alive in some way. It's moving. I think we need to be prepared if we continue onward. I was hoping you would all have some ideas and have, help me structure a plan. Or Keen, believe you're running this, so this is your orders.
We must come to a wise decision, and we must decide if we are to take all of these people into the darkness, or if we are to enter it ourselves ahead of them.
I do not think it would be safe to bring everyone.
I do not believe it is.
I feel like I have missed something. Why are we coming down into the darkness?
Oh,
That is a good question.
My good tree friend told me that this is where we need to go. I mean, he didn't really tell me exactly, but I think that if I were a hero, that this is how I would interpret what the tree has told me. That this is there is darkness, and it is up to us to figure out how to bring light upon it.
So let me get this straight. Thou art saying that thine dead tree friend told us to take the 1,000-ton flying fortress, change direction, leave the safety of the light, go into the darkness of this world, drop down into who knows what, and we are going to do it. Is that the story?
My tree friend is hundreds of years older than you and far more wiser.
I'm not trying to fight thee. This just sounds much more like my kind of plan and less like everyone else's kind of plan.
Well, from what I've been able to find in the research, there was a cataclysm of some sort quite a while back, hundreds of years, and this has been an ongoing process. This planet, this world is not well. This darkness has been coming closer and closer and gaining in power, and the planet should be obliterated based on the prophecies that I have read. But it's not, so something is fighting it.
Darkness is fairly ethereal. What am I to swing my sword at when we get below?
Whatever lives in it.
Very well.
Only if it's worth...
me at darkness.
But not anything you encounter, Briv. We need to give it a chance to talk first, and only if it's trying to kill us. Yes?
If it's trying to kill us or if it's trying to enslave others, yes.
That's fair.
Very well.
Nope.
It sounds as if we have nothing left to plan for.
We must solidify our plans. First, we must decide how long to enter the darkness for and how. If it is a small group of just us, I do not believe it is wise to take all of the people into the darkness. Even though we are well protected in this flying place, they may not be once we enter. The first time we enter, it is to learn. The second time, it is to act. So we should be prepared to move back out quickly if it is something more than we had expected. And perhaps we should not bring the duck call thing with us, because perhaps there are only dark ducks in this place, and that would be bad.
I feel like thou always has something that you're trying to change about me, Keen.
No. Just the duck thing is a bad choice in the darkness.
No,
Dark
it's
ducks.
not ducks, it's griffins. And griffins help in darkness. I think it's a good idea.
Do we have any griffins would help getting off of here without having to land?
Briv kind of winks and punches Penelope in the arm.
Ow. Why'd you do that?
Briv, you may not hit any of our allies.
'Twas a love pat.
She's tiny!
Oh, so How does that make it any different?
I'm tough. I can take it.
Exactly. I knew she could.
I appreciate that, but it's not all right to hit anyone. This is elementary teachings. Have you learned your alphabet yet?
I must have missed that schooling. And yes, I am literate. Thank you very much.
All right, just checking.
So,
How
right.
are we
is the
to
plan?
get to the ground? Do we
At the-
land this, or do we just disembark?
On the
I
fortress at the
believe-
very bottom is just almost like iron stone, but there is a tunnel that was dug a long time ago at the very, not peak, but the opposite point at the very bottom, where you can kind of bring the stone down, the lower part of the fortress down to barely be touching the ground, and
Ah.
walk down the stair and walk out. So you are still
we
above the tree,
prepare.
and the darkness is, you're in the twilight right now, and whatever that growing darkness is, it's not only a function of the lack of sunlight. There are things in that dark making it darker.
Penelope, are you prepared to talk to this ancient tree below us?
Absolutely. I've actually been looking very forward to it.
While the others prepare themselves, let us go down and have a talk. And we give instructions to the leaders of the community to pull up the teleporter while we are gone, and then to be prepared to beam us up when we return.
I can help with that now. As I was researching, I learned how to lift people. I also can make sure we don't fall.
Okay.
Badly. Because since we are aloft, it would not go well should someone go overboard.
Okay. So everyone starts heading down? The entire party? Does anyone stay behind with the rest of the people?
They are
Oh, no.
totally going to split.
The DM ideas.
I mean, have we given orders?
I have made it clear that they are to wait. That's what that talk was for.
Okay.
Each of the community people understand. Dagon understands well the duties as well as the others must. And I speak through you, so you speak to the other law keepers. Okira speaks to those who she communicates with regularly. Briv speaks to the military, and so on and so forth, I suppose.
Okay. Everyone heads down.
Just to confirm, the orb that lifts the ship, if it's out of the socket, the ship falls, yes?
Essentially, yes.
All right. Was there any way to repair the other one, the broken orb? That was there?
No, it's done.
Beyond repair. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Everyone heads down the
may
winding stair.
have-
Down the winding stair.
Okay, you go into the depths of Storm Herald, and you go down this long, almost obsidian-colored stair that has meticulously been carved, and you come out onto the ground. It's full of mud and rotten, dead, ancient trees, and not 60 feet in front of you is a single tree still standing. There are footprints around the tree. Hundreds of thousands of them.
As we exit, I would like to, or before, as we're making preparations, I would like to have Griff change into a pseudo-dragon form. If
Okay.
possible, please.
Okay, Griff turns into a pseudo dragon. What do you do? Do you approach the tree? As you get closer to the tree, you feel it's only about, I would say, about 40 degrees outside, but the closer you get to the tree, the warmer it feels. The temperature seems to be rising. The air seems to get fresher.
Briv continues to walk up to the tree, and as he's kind of walking with purpose, you see him pull out a small knife, and he begins to carve
No!
onto the bark. When he gets closer,
No,
Briv,
Stop him!
Briv.
Penelope, you just hear screaming in your head. And as you're doing so, Briv, lightning cracks in your brain, and you see what is a tree that seems as big as the world erupt in front of you, and you are carving into its very skin. You take 46 points of psychic damage.
46 the number, or 4d6?
Yeah, I'm rolling it. 46. Nice.
All right.
Oh,
Sorry. Good point. Very valid.
Penelope doesn't have.
You take
Healing
13
or
points of
anything.
psychic damage.
She would run up to the tree and maybe try to cast mending on it or something.
I just
The
kinda
entire
shake it off.
earth quakes.
I raise my hands, spin the knife a little bit, visibly put it back into the straps on my armor. 'Tis not a normal tree.
Well, of course it's not. I'm so sorry. I walk to the tree and I touch it and I cast Speak with Plants. And I just check to see. I'm so sorry for my friend. We did not mean to hurt you. And
As you reach out to cast Speak with Plants, a hand reaches out of the tree and grasps your hand, knotted and wooded and covered in bark. And I am green again for no reason.
It is the
Appropriate.
magic of nature. It reaches out and turns things green.
Yeah, including our dungeon master. Yeah.
and this moment is very appropriate.
The hand grasps you, and this female form kind of like comes out of the tree for a moment. Its face haggard and tired and aged, her eyes black, and she just yells, "They're coming. I need you to save me. They're coming now. They're coming to kill me."
what do we do? Who?
Can I see this? Can we all see this, or is it just Penelope?
Oh, you all see it.
Who art thou?
Immediately-
See this
I saw-
dryad. She just like turns to Briv. "They're coming now."
I
And the
instantly
sun-
start
the second
casting
sun.
bless.
Sets. And you just hear this kind of thunderous boom.
We prepare for battle. We know what's coming.
I start to
Okay.
go and just kind of trace a perimeter a little bit,
How
just
dark
with
is
my
it?
steps to understand the terrain a little bit better.
Can we
I
still
put
see?
Penelope in the tree so she can get a better look and is safe from this muddy ground.
You can
Okay.
still see. The wizened dryad is still holding onto your arm. Dig the tree up. Dig the tree up now.
Penelope?
I literally start just digging
Okay.
up the roots with my hands.
If I see Penelope doing this, I will do the same thing. I have a spade.
I have mold earth.
imagine that I would have a spade, maybe, perhaps.
Okay. Yes, I'm sure you have a spade.
I'm
Briv
sure
seems like-
Briv would be that
Yeah,
prepared. Yeah.
Briv, I don't
So-
know that Briv has ever left anywhere without a shovel and a pocket knife.
And
So Briv
is the
just gets
tree-
down. It looks like a dog, just dirt everywhere.
Is the tree less than 500 pounds?
The tree is definitely 1
Is it
ton.
wooden and hollow?
But
Oh,
it has
huge.
It's a
at one
ton.
point it would have been much heavier, but it is about 500 pounds now that all the leaves have shriveled and everything else. It is near death.
May I levitate it?
Not with the root system still in the dirt. So
I'm casting mold earth to move as much as I can.
how much earth can you move?
You can do 5 feet of earth in cubic. So I'm just like, I think you can cast it twice. So I'm just using that as well as just digging with my bare hand.
Penelope, with roots this deep, are we to cut the roots
No,
to keep them intact? Will it hurt thine friend?
do you really want to try cutting into the tree again?
The roots, they are too deep. We
If
shall
this tree
never
does not,
uproot this.
if this tree does not want to be here, the dryad can help us. But we must have a place for it to move. I start to wrap a rope around it, and I start to tell the lore master for the others up in the ship to prepare to lift this soon. We will have a rope soon. And we prepare other ropes around the trunk while Penelope brings up the ground along with Briv.
I write that on a piece of paper and I give it to Griff to send up to the
Okay.
fortress.
Griff
To the Storm
takes
Herald.
the piece of paper. Anyone else? Well, what else is everyone doing?
think I would
Kira,
take-
what are you doing? All right. We will be absent. Kira? What is Okira doing?
Can you hear me at all?
I can't hear you.
now.
There you are.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Sorry. Okira is really worried about the fact that the sun set and is having problems keeping her mind. She'll start casting light to try to illuminate wherever they're digging and help with the digging process. She's going to find claws and just going to go nuts.
Okay. All right. Everyone's digging now. You are sending a message ahead. All right. As you are doing so, you can hear the ground is just rumbling. Not from an earthquake, but from millions of feet. Bone and flesh hitting the ground, walking.
Can we tell which direction it's coming from?
It's coming from the darkness. It's coming from the east.
And how
Lord
close?
Master.
Penelope's going to run to behind the tree towards the darkness and just cast Entangle and just have roots and trees and the 20 feet in front of us is just going to be completely difficult terrain.
Okay.
Lore master, we
slow
need
down.
you upstairs in the castle. Perhaps you will need to rain down damage to slow what is coming and to direct the lift of the tree. Let them know to drop ropes. We will attach them down here, but go quickly.
I will do so.
All right.
And send down the warriors.
Can Griff see anything? Is Griff back?
Griff is back.
Can they see
Griff-
anything? They have blind sight. So
Yes. Griff, from horizon to horizon, sees undead. All in one endless wave. As far as Griff's eyes can see, like a tidal wave of undead crawling over each other, stumbling. You see undead giants. You see undead flying monsters. It is not anything that you have ever heard of. It is a swarm of death.
As they get closer, I don't know how close they are, but as they get closer, Briv straps on his shield, pulls his sword out, walks close to any kind of choke point that the entanglement might be creating. And he's just going to do his best to hold back the wave as long as he can while the others are working.
Penelope, what is the area of effect of entangle?
It is 20 foot square. starting from the point within range. So I would have started it pretty much just past the big tree and 20 feet out. So
The
20 by
first
20.
few decrepit zombie-like creatures you see them running, and they immediately hit the entanglement and get stopped. And easily 20 more back up against them and trip and fall over them, and also become entangled. There's
not
like this
gonna hold them forever.
swarming, spiraling line heading directly towards the tree.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I brought you here. I thought I was brave enough. I thought we could be heroes, but no, we can't handle this. What do we do?
Yet. I want to cast Turn Undead.
Okay, go ahead.
So I just do it. Anything within 30 feet of me must make if it's undead, it must make a wisdom saving throw DC 14.
I'm doing this for groups of 10. If they can see you,
each undead that's or within 30 feet.
okay. The few undead that don't see you are getting torn apart by the entanglement and are being held back. The rest are being held at bay. But the light of Palor shines from your holy symbol and from your hand, and just illuminates all of these rotting, dead faces of undead gnomes and dwarves and elves and goblins and trolls and creatures that you've never even heard of before. Causes them to stop and recoil and scream out in pain. And you sense
And
that
if they're a
this
CR
wave
a half or lower, they
is
just get destroyed.
moving around you. What?
If they're a CR a half or lower, they just get outright destroyed if they failed.
Almost all of them are obliterated.
I can't do that again. We need to get this tree out of here.
You have
Briv
dug up
is
most
just trying
of the
to
root
move.
system?
Briv is trying to move wherever he is going to have the most impact, and he is seriously at this point just screaming. He's trying to throw gravel if he can pick that up, anything that's going to divert their attention from what's going on at the tree itself.
Okay. They have you've not witnessed this yourself. They have a mindless focus at the tree. You are screaming for them to fight you. They are ignoring you completely. Even when one potentially runs by you, provoking an attack of opportunity, they don't even care that you're swinging at them.
Okay.
You managed to decapitate, I would say, 3 or 4 of them in this manner.
Okay. I want to scream out to everyone, they care not about us. We must complete the work and depart quickly. Make haste.
Am I back to the control room yet? Have I issued the orders and gotten to the control room?
So you've run up and gone to the control room?
I passed along the orders that Keen gave to
Yes.
have the warriors prepare, and then I was heading straight to be able to use the spire.
Okay, you're heading for the spire right now? Okay, good. Anyone else running inside? The tree is now dug up.
We give the order to lift and everybody up. Fall back quickly.
I want to, if this is happening, like what, so is anything happening with the tree at this point in time? Or is it just roped up?
It's just roped up.
Okay, so I want to stay down, but I want to be able to grab onto something securely on the tree. And essentially, as this is happening, I get close to the tree and I start to whisper and say, please do not hold this against me. And I dig. I've got clawed hands, so I dig some claws in the tree. Hopefully it senses my intent is not to hurt it, and I am just trying to make sure that I am holding fast to the tree.
Hope, what are you doing?
Penelope doesn't want to leave the tree, so she's going to cast Wild Shape and turn into a giant fire beetle, which casts 10 feet of light as well. So I'm a lit tiny beacon, and I'm going to attach myself to the tree as well.
Briv, as you try to dig your fingernails into the tree itself, a hand reaches out, a feminine hand, and wraps itself around your wrist.
Got it.
And
it's
not letting go. All right.
Then I'm just gonna, like, if it's got my arm and I feel like it's very secure, I'm gonna just keep cutting undead down.
Keen, what are you doing?
I am yelling, "Lift! We must leave now!"
Briv, you're the first one. Everyone roll initiative.
14.
Oh.
8.
18.
18
All
as
right.
well.
4.
So Alindra, Keen, 18.
No, 8 for me.
Oh, 8.
Or Kira and King.
I wish it was 18.
Keen, Okara. Who was after Okara?
Briv, 14.
Hope?
Or
Penelope?
nat 1. Very scared.
Okay. They got 20.
Of course they did.
Briv, you are the closest one to the horde. That one scrapes its claws down your... I'm going to say you're not using your shield. It's got to be on your back.
That's fine.
Actually, you can... No. Yeah, you're either fighting or defending.
Yeah, I said I was cutting. I'm
Okay.
trying to keep them away from the tree. My body is my shield.
You get hit twice for... 1d10 points of damage. Ah, sorry. DM fail. 4 points of damage. Piercing. 13 points of damage piercing as well.
All right.
Up next is Keen.
I am closest to the rope and the knot. I expect that when the tree lifts, I will stand on the knot and on the tree. But now that the knot is finished, I am yelling for them to begin, and I reach back with my glaive, and I snap it to the other side of the tree where Briv is holding on to what will be the bottom, no doubt. And I have a 10-foot reach with my blade. Pop, pop! I strike quickly.
Okay. You strike... all right. There are multiple zombies on the ground. Roll your attack.
Armor class 20 and 16. And if I get my pole-arm mastery secondary attack, armor class 24 with the butt end as well.
You hit with all three. Roll your damage. Alindra, for your turn, you will be in the control room.
Okay.
And you are now completely covered in darkness. You are only illuminated by the light spells that Kira has cast, and also by the glow of the fire beetle that Penelope has become.
If the first damage is 10 points, the second is 5, and the third is 4.
You slice down half of the middle of one of these undead creatures, and it opens up, and all of its organs fall out. You slash another one across the jaw, and its jaw. Well, tell me how you do this. Tell me what you are.
I am specifically targeting only the ones that are attacking Briv. I am trying to get him free and clear. So I am not in danger quite yet, but he is taking the damage. So I strike the one, and I wish to remove its head, but keep its body close to Briv, because if the others attack, they may attack its dead body instead of Briv. And I snap it around to the other side, rip that one's head off as well to leave a body shield. If they are all pushing forward, they can only hit themselves and not Briv. And then if there's a third, I strike with the butt of the weapon.
Okay. You do so. You manage to hit with the third strike as well.
And I
Kira.
continue to yell to lift, rise.
The tree does begin lifting at this point off the ground. It is about 2 feet off the ground. Orkira, it is your turn.
I produce in my hand a ball of flame. I hurl it at whatever the closest group of enemy is. I'm sending a fireball there. So however many I can get in a 20-foot radius sphere that doesn't include my friends must make a dexterity saving throw, DC 14.
You're casting fireball?
I'm casting fireball.
Okay.
I'm a light cleric. I got fire for days. I'm gonna burn these zombies.
Roll your damage.
12, 17, 19, 30. That's 31 points of fire damage on a fail on a save.
What is the radius?
It is a 20-foot radius, and I can place it within 150 feet. So I want to place it so that it includes as many zombies as possible, but none of my friends or the tree.
All right. A safe distance from the tree. And we are talking. There's zombies, and I'll stop saying zombies. Undead on top of undead. Scrambling and clamoring, and they're at this point almost 3 undead deep, crawling and scrambling over each other, hungrily trying to get at you first. And they all erupt into fire and explode like a bomb goes off. And undead fly into several directions all over the place. And you create a crater, a smoking, fiery crater, where there once was nothing but undead, but you see that it is a crater of death. That what circles this fireball is just more and more undead. And they are now circling around the tree itself. The tree moves up 2 more feet.
This is the weirdest visual bug I've ever seen, and I kind of
This is the
love it.
weirdest thing. I apologize for everyone at home for the weirdness that is happening.
The darkness
It's
is
amazing.
reaching the color out of
It's
the world.
outstanding.
I'm just super gothy today.
We have
can I
crossed
say?
into the Shadowfell.
Yeah.
Seriously. We didn't know our DM was a Shadowkai. That's pretty cool.
I mean, I felt like it was kind of self-evident. But all right. Next up is Briv.
Okay, what is in? So I have a body that's kind of limp in front of me. I am imagining that there still are undead threatening me at this point, even though we're about 4 feet off the ground. Is that correct? Uh-oh, I can't hear him. Is that me?
That is correct.
Okay, I can hear you now. All right, so I'm going to take a very deep breath, and I am going to go ahead and use Second Wind as a bonus action. So 7 plus 4, 11 hit points back there. I am going to take my arming sword. So this is a little bit shorter than a normal, and I'm going to gut up through the corpse belly and engage the sword up through the rib cage and basically put my arm into the undead's body. And I'm about to use that as a shield. I'm basically trying to take the dodge action here.
Okay.
By using the shield that Keen provided for me there. And then I am going to action surge. And basically at this point in time, you see that Briv has, his hand held fast, and he just turns back a little bit to the tree and just says, just one moment. And he tries to kind of wriggle free for a second and grabs a potion from his belt as part of the action surge and just chunks it up in the air and then tries to grab back on the tree super quick, trying this. And he wants to try to catch the potion in his mouth and chug the potion also.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you. You're gonna be making a dexterity check for that one.
Sure.
Acrobatics.
Sure. Let's do this.
Do it. This is gonna be
I
epic.
want you to get an 18.
19. 17 is what I rolled on the die, so it's a 19.
That's why you
It's a
call it
19.
beforehand. That's why DMs.
Yeah.
All right. So you pop the cork and you
All right.
throw the vial in the air, and the health potion dribbles down into your mouth. It does chip your teeth.
Briv cares not at all about that. He will replace it with an adamantine filler at one point.
All right. Well, that was different.
All right, let's see.
Roll your healing.
Yeah, let's see. It's 4 and 6 plus. So 6. That's 8 more points of healing. So 11 and 8 is 19, I think. Yeah.
You hear in the distance a guttural scream that rattles your teeth. It echoes on the walls of Storm Herald, and you hear a cackling laughter deep into the darkness. And you hear a It is now Alendra's turn.
I would like to use the tower, please, to
Okay.
cast grease around where the base of the tree is, so that everything that might try to climb up will have to make a check.
Grease is not a damaging spell, correct?
No, it's not. It's a dexterity save.
Only,
But I'd like to
only
use
damage.
the range, because otherwise,
Yeah, it can only.
do
It
anything.
will only increase a damaging spell.
It's only so not even just doubling the distance.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Yes. So the grease appears from above using the eyes that Griff has. I cast and make the terrain very slippery underneath where the tree is lifting, in the hopes that
Okay,
nothing will be able to come in.
What is the area of effect?
It's a 10-foot square, but if it
So
boosts with the tower, it'll be a 20-foot square.
Okay, 20-foot square of ground, already muddy and full of undead, just oozes with this grease. And now all these undead creatures are slipping and sliding, clamoring for the tree, and failing to get to it. It may be the one thing that saves Briv's life, to be completely honest. The ones that were trying to grapple onto his legs lose purchase on the ground and fall back onto the ground. That is your turn. And now it is Hope. It is Penelope's turn.
How many undead are actually on the tree at this point?
Almost none of them have managed to get onto the tree itself, except for 2.
Okay, so and pretty much anything on the ground is now unhindered by the grease.
Yeah, and you are now
can't
6
move
feet
it.
up.
Yeah, Penelope is just overwhelmed, and I will basically hold my turn because she's just going to find a crevice of the tree and hide.
Okay. Penelope hides. And now is their turn.
If they're attacking Briv, they're at disadvantage because I dodged with a zombie shield.
Okara, I need you to make 4 strength saving throws. Well, yeah.
Oh,
I'm looking at your AC right now.
Cast a bless before I went up. I called that as we heard that things were coming. When we
Yeah.
were warned, the first thing I did. So you are
Would
blessed.
that have
Okara.
increased her AC?
It'll help if she has to make saves.
Okay.
It will
Several
help.
of the undead are digging their claws into your legs.
These attacks that are causing the saving throws?
Yes.
So the first one that I rolled was a 4. So what I would like to do, since that attack is actually going to hit me, is my reaction will go off. I will call on Paylor. There'll be a blinding flash of and disadvantage.
Okay.
Does it still hit me?
No.
Okay.
It screams in horror as even its eyes seem to, what was left of its irises seems to melt and ooze from the light of Palor.
Okay.
Paylor's messy.
Paylor, don't mess around. My second strength saving throw is a 19.
Okay. You succeed.
My third one is my
say
third one
again.
is a 10.
Okay. And what's your fourth?
My fourth is a 17.
All right. You are free. They tear into your legs, but they don't cause any damage, but they also don't tear you down as well.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
That was
Thank you,
close.
Baylor.
You are still holding on to the tree as well, correct?
Oh yeah.
You now
I'm
are
going on
all
this ride.
10 feet up in the air, and the undead can no longer reach you. So the tree winds itself up. And do you have any other orders to the people who are in the flying fortress?
To be prepared, and those that can, to help pull up the tree as quickly as possible without harming it.
There's just hundreds of people all pulling chains and ropes and dragging the tree, and some branches are being snapped off. There's no right way to do this, as all of the undead are clambering up and creating an increasing mountain of just death, trying like ants, trying to reach up to the tree. As the tree elevates, the dead themselves elevate as well. While you are bringing up the tree, is anyone doing anything specific?
I would love to.
Are we out of initiative?
If we're out of initiative.
You are out of combat. You are out of initiative.
Go ahead, Akira.
I would like to cast daylight on the bottom of the tree. It just happens.
Okay.
So I cast it on the bottom of the tree, like where the roots are, closest to where all these undead are. A 60-foot radius sphere of light comes out from there, and it is daylight. I don't know if it'll help,
60-foot
but I
radius?
have a feeling 60-foot radius from the bottom of the tree.
Everything at the bottom of the tree within 60 feet just erupts into smoke and ash. And you see this cylinder of nothing but dust and gray falling ash. And inside of that cylinder of gray falling ash is a mountain of undead surrounding it.
So Briv is going to also, so he's going to try to put the zombie or whatever this undead is on his shoulder. And basically he's going to try to like chicken wing it just a little bit, like hold on to it because he thinks that the lore master might want to examine it. And he's going to take the arming sword out, and he's going to essentially, holster it, take the potion bottle out of his hand. He's going to try to throw it down and hit one of the undead, kind of like a game to himself. And then he is going to take out his griffin call, and then he just lets out a on the griffin call as he's riding the tree up.
Okay.
Now is not the time. Now is
Actually,
not
now
the
might be
time.
the time. Now might be the perfect time.
In between calls, I yell for the people above us to man the ballistas. Something is coming. Something big is coming. Look out on every corner and man the weapons as you have been trained by Briv. Be quick about it.
The ground is now filled with just the dead. As far as the eye can see are the dead. And in the distance you see larger, hulking figures like that of dead giants, 70 feet tall, lumbering.
Like they could reach us in the fortress?
Not yet. If you hang out, if the fortress does not elevate, yes, absolutely. The tree finally, slowly but surely, gets dragged up to the top platform of Storm Herald, the flying fortress, and you can start trying to lift it up over the edge.
Now, may I levitate it?
Yes, absolutely.
I would like to levitate it and move it into the center of the area of the fortress, into the most protected place I can find.
The courtyard.
Yeah, the garden.
Okay.
Mhm.
Where the other
And the
dead tree was.
And the strongest of us will help with this. And
Excellent.
Penelope, you must guide us. Where is it best for this to sit?
Oh, it needs to be pulled once it's up. So I will need you to pull on the ropes, Keen. You and anyone who can help.
Where are we going,
It's
Penelope?
You don't hear anything from Penelope. She's up in the tree as a tiny bug, and she does not answer.
We'll put it close to the other trees, I guess, and we'll pull it there with Alindra's help.
What's Okara doing?
Once she's on top, she's going to stay on the side, watching the horde of undead prepared to do.
Mayhaps we should not leave the new tree where the old tree died? What if something is amiss with the ground?
That is why Penelope must counsel us. He is right.
To your teeth.
Don't worry about it. Tis nothing. Tis nothing.
I climb the
chip.
tree and look for the light of the beetle hiding in it. I climb the tree and look for the light of the beetle.
You find her.
It is Penelope. Is it?
You get nothing. She cannot speak.
I saw
If
her.
you can
King.
hear me-
Yes, she's the glowy bug.
If you can hear me, now is the time to act, because we need your wisdom, otherwise she will die without you. You are the only one who knows where she belongs.
Heroes, etc.
Penelope will take a. She will pop out of her her form with her back turned to Keen and say, "I almost killed everyone. This is all my fault. And I can't
you
do
have-
anything because I'm not a hero.
And you have saved this tree, and we are rising, but you must act quickly. You did a good thing today, and we are all alive. The only thing we are missing is a couple of teeth, and no one will notice. So,
'Tis but half a tooth. Not bad at all, Penelope. Thou art a hero.
Are
but
you still
act
in the
quickly or she will
tree?
die.
Yeah, we're
You
still
and
in the
Penelope are still in the tree.
You hear the sounds of ballistas going off.
Help the tree. We will be
Riv
back,
starts
but you are the
moving to
only
make
one who
sure they're
can.
doing it right.
I run down too. It's time to go.
You
I can just-
okay? Who's running to the armaments?
I run to the one that Briv is not running to because they are probably widespread.
Okay. Lindra is still.
I'm still
Flying.
holding the tree, so
Yeah.
until I'm told where to put it, I can't do anything else.
Okay.
Penelope will stay in the tree and she'll look over and she'll just pick out. You want to put the tree close to the other tree where their roots can touch but have room to breathe. And then kind of hide away.
And I do.
Okay.
I would also
Okay,
like to send a message to Penelope, if I can still see her at all. Penelope, what you did today was incredibly brave. You saved this tree and the creature within it. It would have certainly died without you. You told us where to go and we helped someone in need. That is courage. You are Penelope the Brave. But we need you to muster that courage again.
You don't get a reply.
Okara, what are you doing?
Stand by the edge. We've pulled up the tree, waiting to defend it.
You're by the tree.
I'm kind of between where the tree is being planted and the edge where we pulled it up because I saw the large undead things coming. And nothing undead on this island.
Okay. You all still hear the beating of wings, but in the darkness, you cannot see where it's coming from.
Can
Just so-
Griff go
I
ahead
will
Riv
and-
can't
say-
get a visual when he starts going out and looking near the
And
ballista.
Yeah,
has blind
you
sight.
see the silhouette of wings, massive wings.
Briv knows what
I
a
will say
dragon looks
daylight
like. Is it a
lasts-
dragon?
Looks very dragon-like. Yes.
Daylight does last for an hour.
Yep, and that is burning at the bottom of the flying fortress at this time.
For an entire
So
hour.
anything underneath is getting completely destroyed.
We should
Uh,
rise quickly now.
And we do everything we can to fly up as high as we can.
Yeah,
But there's flying things.
You guys are moving quite
Mhm.
fast up into the sky. You are well out of the range of the undead on the ground. Briv and Keen, you are both on ballistas at this moment. You can attack this shadowy figure that seems to be flying around. On top of it, you can see this dried up husk, white skinned, white hair, red eyes, carrying a sword on top of what looks like a rotting dragon, circling Storm Herald. And it looks gleeful and happy.
So Briv is going to actually look around for just a little while, recognizing his limitations, and he is going to find his best target person because he knows that he doesn't have incredibly good eyesight, and so he wants to find his champion trainee, whoever is better suited for this, and he's going to get them into the behind it as quickly as possible. And then he just gives another few calls on the Griffin call.
Okay. You give more calls on the Griffin call.
I send a messenger to the lore master who is probably controlling the direction of the ship. Not only should we rise, we should head towards the light as quickly as possible. Run to the lore
Agreed.
master and tell her now. And I send the messenger. And is Dagon with me? My weapons master? Is he on this?
Yes.
You said he is limping? He is injured still and healing from something?
Yeah, he's limping, but he's working through it.
He cannot fight well like this, so I will leave him in charge of this ballista, but I will stay close to it and mobile so that I can react as is necessary.
Several of the villagers are running into what used to be the monastery at this time, and all of them start screaming.
And that is where I head. I yell for
Briv too.
Monastery.
Okay. The monastery is closest to the garden.
How close
Okira-
is this dragon flying overhead?
Extremely close.
I would
Like
like
120
to use,
feet close?
Oh, yeah.
Using the tower,
Go ahead.
I would like to mind spike the rider.
Okay,
And
go
I would
ahead.
like to
What do I need to
boost
roll?
that to a 3rd level, please.
Okay.
It's a wisdom save with a difficulty of 15. And I have foreseen this moment. It is going to have an 8 on that roll.
Nice.
How portentous.
All right, if it was going to succeed, it rolled 17, but okay, it fails.
All right, so it's 3d6. No, I'm sorry, 3d8. So it's going to be 4d8. 7 plus 2 is
Okay, well
9,
that fight was
plus
long.
6 is 15, plus another 7 is 22 points of damage.
Let me have a villain. How
No.
much damage?
Nope.
22,
Not going to happen.
and
You just hear
I
this
will know
thing
its location from here on out.
well, that's great because it just screams and just wretches where it once was filled with like twisted malevolent joy. What seems almost like half undead and half still alive splits its eyes and it falls off of this undead dragon and crashes to the ground right in front of Okira, just shaking in tremors and its teeth just chattering out of its mouth. And the Draco Lich roars, and there is an immense shake all over Storm Herald.
So the rider is dead
Yes,
and the dragon is still okay.
correct.
I'm guiding bolt that dragon.
Okay, we'll go ahead and allow you to take your action and do that.
Oh,
And
all right.
then
It actually, I just
Go
realized
ahead.
using the tower, it was 44 damage because I was using the tower.
all right, its head explodes, just cracks open and just pops. That's
Gross.
All right, that's good. That's because Okira did not
tell
want
you
to have
guys,
to worry about this thing.
I'll tell you about his backstory later. It'll be great.
Let's just do some fanfic.
He's more friendly.
So the,
Yeah, Roar is the one
rider
who gets the pass.
so the rider falls, and I grin up at Alindra, and then I turn that grin on this dragon, and I'm going to try to guiding bolt it at 2nd level.
Okay. Do you need to hit an armor class? What are we looking at?
17 versus AC.
Okay, go
Do
ahead
I
and
hit?
roll. That's a
Yeah,
good
17
question.
versus AC.
This one hits. How much
Awesome.
damage?
Since I cast it at 2nd level, it is 5d6 radiant damage.
Nice. 8.
So it's 16 radiant damage. And hopefully everybody heard that.
It strikes into its chest, burning. It howls, screaming. Keen, you told me what did you say you were doing at the time?
I'm running to where the screams are coming from at the monastery to meet Briv there.
Okay. Briv, you were running
At
to
the-
the monastery as well. It's now its
Yes.
turn. Where this giant hulking undead dragon, its attention was squared away at the villagers running into the monastery, and breathing in deep, you strike it right in the chest with a guiding bolt, burning its sternum. You see the skin slowly singe and peel away from its bone, and it's infuriated that its master is now dead, lying on the ground. As it's breathing out, it turns towards you, Okira, instead of the monastery. I need you to make a saving
Good.
throw.
What kind?
A dexterity kind.
Okay. It's a 15.
A 15 will not do it.
And now we all sit and listen to all these dice getting rolled.
No, so suspenseful.
Horrifying.
It's all right. I saved everybody in the church.
No.
You take 75 points of fire damage.
Oh my god, oh my god.
Okira dies with a toothy grin on her face.
What is your fire resistance? Do you have fire resistance?
Oh, it's fire. Okay, I do have
Yes.
fire resistance. Okay, so I take half that damage.
Yes!
Okay,
Just
wait. How
enough.
much is half that damage?
34? 30?
You said 70.
It
5.
was 75.
Math is hard.
Okay,
33?
so
37.
37.
An extra.
So the fire burns, and Okira just standing shrouded in flames. And with one hit point left, she's still standing there. And she looks up at this Dracolich and she says, "You cannot burn me. I am a chosen of Palor. I am fire." She's one hit point left. You said Dracolich, so I thought it was necrotic damage. I thought you just killed her. Oh, shit. Oh.
Unfortunately, it has more than one attack.
It's not funny. I don't know why
All
I'm
right.
laughing. It was his delivery.
I know. It's okay.
That's you have that.
Do you have an armor class higher than 17?
No.
Is this halfway to the monastery? Is Briv there yet?
This is all in one turn. Yeah, you are coming to the monastery right at this moment.
I'm away from the monastery, though. I was like between the where the tree is being planted and the edge. So this is technically away from the monastery. Hopefully. Did it land? Is it clawing me?
Yeah, no, it bites you.
Okay.
Dracolich sing the flame. You
Well,
just
then
stand
actually-
before the flames, igniting you.
If it's doing that and I don't have to make a save, then I am going to use another one of my warding flares. And as it lands and tries to bite me, I'm going to warding flare right in its face, and it has disadvantage on this attack.
Okay.
I
Oh
don't,
my gosh.
I don't know if it'll help, but we'll try.
Hanging on by a thread here.
I am.
It still hits.
Oh,
All right. I tried.
You take 8 points of piercing damage. No, sorry, that's 15 points of piercing damage and 5 points of lightning. 5 points of fire damage, which is halved. The fire damage is halved.
Okay. Oh, she still
And
goes down.
The Dracolich comes down and pounces its teeth around Okira. You, Brev, and Keen both see this at the same time. Alindra, you sense this happening.
Where is she?
I
I just yell,
s-
I taste way better. And I'm trying to get its attention. I'm trying to attack it as soon as I am able to.
Has it landed to do this?
Yes.
Where? So where is this near the tree? Would Penelope
Yes.
see this?
It's near the tree.
Are we in an initiative right now?
Yes, I am. We'll start initiative now. It was just based on where people were physically located.
Okay.
So people had said what their actions were. At this moment, King comes running down. Briv comes running towards the dragon, trying to wave. Alindra, what do you think your next action is going to be? Just kind of describe it to me.
using Griff to put so I can see Okira, I'm going to cast a healing word
Okay,
as a
and
bonus
Penelope,
action.
what is your plan going to be here?
Sorry, who'd you say?
What Penelope, what is your plan for this
I mean,
round?
if she can see this, then it would devastate her, and she would take every inch of bravery that she has, and she's going to cast lightning on him.
Okay. And we will continue this adventure next time. Next week.
No!
Okira lies in ashes and smoke, bitten nearly in half by Dracolich, as all the heroes kind of converge, trying, perhaps in vain, to try to save her. Thank you, everyone, for watching. But there's an epilogue as well. Way in the distance, on another world, and then enter Vale. Thousands of Shadowfell creatures, like twisted werewolves and vampires without skin or hair, are digging in the dirt, piling up mounds and mounds of ground and earth until it almost feels like 80 feet high, and once was a silver mining town. Watching this is a desiccated, white-skinned, white-haired Shadowfell Avon, slowly crawling and walking, carrying a great sword, his eyes vacant. As they dig all this dirt up, at the very bottom of this immense seething pit of Shadowfell monstrosities is a circle, a dragon eating its own tail. Avron crawls down slowly, steadying himself with the Staff of Ruin, and stands in the very center of this stone shaped like a dragon and strikes it once, and a blast wave appears. Red lightning crackles from the sky and strikes down at the point that Avron is. And then the entire pit erupts in a red, blinding glow, and thousands of these Shadowfell monsters all start clamoring, all start running and jumping and climbing into the red glowing light, amongst all circling Avron. Far to the west, in the world that you exist, to the western mountains, a red crackling glow of light erupts and strikes down on the other side of the mountains. And Avrin, surrounded by thousands upon thousands of shellfell monsters, just says, "They said we could leave." And that's the end of our adventure. I will see everyone next week. Thank you so much for playing this game. Everyone was fantastic. I am sad and scared for the next adventure. I'm a little down.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Everything will be fine.
Yeah, everything will be great.
Totally fine.
Thank you, TJ Storm, Hope Lavelle, Adam Bradford, Lauren Urban, and of course, Jen Kretschmer. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you for watching our depressing, dark, and undead-filled adventure. Hopefully, our heroes survive next week.
Spread the tree.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Oh